and welcome to the Golf Ireland podcast this week with me, Valerie Wheeler, and my co-host Stephen Murphy. Stephen, how are you this week?
I'm great, thank you, Valerie. We had a sunny weekend here in Galway. It's sunshine's here today as well, so I'm never too bad when the sun's out. It's always great. But how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, still on the high from the weekend after the Munster final, of course. Last week on the pod, you hadn't a clue what Munster final was on, who was playing, and all the hurling snobs were traumatized.
I knew Limerick were there. That's not really much of a guess. But yeah, Clare. From what I've heard, Clare were disappointing. They didn't throw much of a punch. This is from people who actually watched it, not myself. But yeah, I heard that it was. I don't know. You were covering it probably. So what did you think of it?
No, I actually wasn't on Talton Cup duty the weekend, but I did get to see a bit of it. And yeah, Limerick are just so powerful and so unstoppable. Like it's really hard to see past them at this stage of the championship. Yesterday I actually launched the hurling series in the Michael Cusack Centre in County Clare, and we had 8 players from the 8 teams that were left. So the All Ireland series is launched, so we're finally able to see the patch to the All Ireland final. So who's going to be in it? Who knows? So watch over the next couple of weeks. I'd say hopefully it'll be an entertaining few weeks of hurling.
I know, Valerie. I'm an expert in the field, so I know. I'll tell you off air who's going to be there.
Please,
Um,
please watch some of it. Watch some of
I
it for
know, I
me.
know.
Come
I've
on.
watched base. I do. I'm not totally. I grew up playing GA. It wasn't as if I haven't. I just when I moved to Galway, then I kind of stopped caring. But I've often wondered though, like, do you think the fans and the players is there still like a buzz of winning your fifth Munster title in a row? Or like I'm sure it's still great, and I'm always impressed by the showing up every year and putting in the work and winning is still impressive. But the first one's the big buzz, right? That has to be the big one.
Yeah, and to be fair, like watching them after the Munster final on Sunday, there was a bit of difference between the Leinster final and the Munster final, quality wise, maybe the weekend, and like the way I suppose Limerick celebrated and the way Kilkenny maybe have celebrated their title would have been so different. Now the wins were completely different, and the Munster Championship is I suppose more competitive, but those Limerick boys looked like it was their first one all over again. They were celebrating, they were dancing, they were enjoying each other's company. There was music playing, and they don't seem to be getting sick of it anytime soon, which is kind of scary. But for the
Yeah.
rest of
Bit
the
of a
county,
warning for the rest of the
yeah,
teams. Yeah, they're still
yeah.
hungry. Another sporting occasion that's been on that I've been totally wrapped up in has been the European athletics. I don't follow the athletics. I'm one of these people who like when the Olympics are on, I'll tune in and all that. But Ireland are good again, Valerie. It's been what since Sonia really since we've been this good. By all accounts, it's our first gold medal in the relay and all that. But it's been great. There's something about athletics. It's just like I think it's just because it's human v human. There's no equipment. There's no nothing. It's just who has it on the day. I don't know. It's something primal about it. But I've been really, really enjoying it. Have you been enjoying it?
Oh, look, every evening it's on here in the house, and it's just honestly such a joy to watch because, especially when we've athletes at it that are like making semi-finals and making finals and getting medals. I mean, there's nothing more exciting than seeing Ireland on the podium getting a gold medal or a silver or a bronze medal. And speaking of that relay race the other night, oh my God, I'd say everyone was on the edge of their seat, and I must say, I'd say the video went around everywhere the other day, but the video of them, Charlie Maudsley crossing the finish line and just in sheer shock of, oh my God, we did it. And it was just such a stunning moment for them. I'd say they could not believe it. Like she was like, I've actually won. We've actually won gold. So it's so nice to see it. And it's also quite, I find it very emotional. I don't know about you, but maybe I'm just an emotional wreck. But like honestly, tear jerking stuff now. Like
I,
really
I,
is.
I said that to my mates. I was like, I don't know why I was strangely emotional watching the replay. I think it's, and we spoke off air about this. Greg Allen, from RTE, was the commentator. And if you ever want an example of what commentary can add to a sporting occasion, watch those 2 minutes or whatever it was, 2 or 3 minutes, because he is totally invested himself. He obviously cares deeply about it, but he's also incredibly knowledgeable, and the passion comes through the TV. And like I don't I'm sure you've done this too, Valerie, in your line of work. I'm sure you prep and you probably have stuff that you want to say. But when like something comes out, like some of the words he's saying, like when she crosses the 100 meter line and he's like, she is elegance, she is power, and like hold your nerve. These sayings are like it makes the hair on your arms stand up,
Yeah.
and it's just pure. If you don't like that, if that doesn't, I suppose, move you in any way, I don't. Sport's not for you. Like it has to impact you some way, and it's that will be. I've already seen Reeling in the Years in 20 years time. Like, that clip is going to be played, and that audio, and it's going to be incredible to watch again. I loved it. Totally loved it.
Yeah, Greg is the utmost professional, so he is. And like for him as well on occasion, he's always commentating on these events. And sometimes we do see our Irish athletes, fail at these hurdles and we don't get to see them medal. So for him as well, it was almost like he's medal too, He was like, finally he gets to commentate and someone, and you could hear it in him too. He was just super excited. So we're really proud of all the Irish athletes out there doing us proud at the moment. So yeah, bring home a few more goals now.
Absolutely brilliant to see. But let's get on to this week's episode. Valerie, you had a great guest on this week. Why don't you give us a little backdrop before we throw over to that audio?
Yeah, so this week, do you know what? A really inspirational chat is what I'm going to say. This is Judithe Allen. She is a golfer and she is in competition this week, but we had her on because she was so brave and so courageous to share a story with us about her having breast cancer and how she was diagnosed, talking about a double mastectomy at a very young age as a woman. Like, I can't imagine what her and her family went through when this time was happening in her life. But honestly, so brave, so honest, and such an important topic for anyone listening out there to be checking their breasts and checking them often, But let's have a listen to Judith. I must say, an emotional listen. I found myself, listening to her and finding it quite emotional also, but she was honestly so brave, and how she tells her story is absolutely amazing.
Absolutely powerful interview, and looking forward to listening to it. We'll throw it over to that now.
Joining me on the Golf Ireland podcast this week to tell us about her inspirational journey is Judithe Allen. Judith, first of all, welcome to the Golf Ireland pod.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
Judith, I must say it's very admirable and very brave of you to come on the podcast and share your story. But I must say your story might encourage other people to go get themselves checked out. So thank you, first of all, for speaking on this today. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get into it, Judith, because you've gone from, I suppose, having breast cancer to being back in competitive golf. But can we maybe bring you back to that day, that the journey, and maybe the day that you found out that you did have breast cancer?
Yeah. So I was about 18 and I knew there was a BRCA2 gene in my family from my dad. So I went and got tested just after I left school, and the results came back that I had the BRCA2 gene. And I thought, flip, I'm just about to start university and just finish school. And it was a bit of a whirlwind. So kind of put it to the back of my mind, just boxed it. And then when I hit 25, that's when I got invited for my first MRI scan. So just obviously like family history, we've been checking our breasts and stuff, and it was kind of common. And I went when I was 25 for the first scan, and I kind of knew myself there just wasn't something right. I was in and went into the MRI machine, and my mum had taken me up, and I was face down in that MRI machine for, must have been an hour and a half. And I kind of thought to myself, there's something not right here. I've been in here a long time, and kind of came out. Mum was like, "Oh, you were in there a long time," and I was like, "Was I?" Trying to just batter it off that it was nothing. And then it was the week after I got called back for my results. So we went up, and my mum, my dad, myself, and my older sister, we went, and we were sitting waiting there. And my appointment, I think, was 3:00. And come 3:45, we were still sitting there in the waiting room, and there was women double, triple my age, were in and out, and we just all knew ourselves. We just said, this is not good. And the guy came out and he said, Judithe Allen, and he was in his scrubs. And I was like, oh, this is not good. So we went in, and my older sister came in, and he kind of, you could tell he had never really given news to somebody my age. And he said, look, he kind of battered around the subject, and he just said, look, we had a couple of biopsies, and one was okay, but he said the other one was breast cancer. And at that minute in time, we were all like, what is going on? I was 25 and just started a new job, and, had the world at my oyster, and yeah, that was kind of, it hit home. And my mom actually turned around, and my dad was upset and my sister was upset, and I kind of was just in a state of shock. And my mom, she turned around and she was like, so what do we do next? What's the next stage? And when she said that, I was like, oh, because she had been there. She battled cancer for 15 years. So when she said that, I kind of got a bit of like, oh, come on, Judith, you know, you can do this. And I just turned around to him and I was like, am I going to be okay? And he was like, no, you'll be fine. So at that stage, I knew exactly what kind of treatment I wanted, that I wanted to go for the double mastectomy. Because the gene's so strong in my family. My auntie had it, my mum and my dad's mum, you know, it's really strong. So I knew at that point that's exactly the surgery I wanted. So just to be gone with it, which was great. So, but yeah, it was a bit of a shock at that time when I was only so young, you know.
So young, Judith. And can I bring you back? I mean, when you found out you first had the gene, were you always want to check your breast? Were you taught how to check your breast? Because personally, I don't know, does any of us know how to check? Are we just having a feel and making sure there's something, nothing's not, you know, something's different there? I mean, were you checking?
Yeah, I was checking, just because of mum. So she had taught us, but in terms of school, I feel like it's something that should be taught when you're in school. You know, you should be taught how to check them. And even some of my friends, you know, they've said, just like, how you check them and, you know, where's the best place to check. And it's something that we're not taught. And cancer is such a big thing up north, especially. And, you know, I know so many women who've had breast cancer, and I feel like they're not taught how to do it properly, you know, and something like that can save your life, you know, just having a quick feel when you're in the shower once a month, and, you know, it can save your life.
And can I ask you, you know, you got your test done and you said there was a week of a wait you did in your mind in that week. I mean, how were you that week?
Really anxious, because I knew myself that I just felt, you know, I'd been in America the week before my scan with work, and I kind of was tired and I just didn't feel myself. And then when I had the scan, I just knew I was in there a long time. And when my mum said to me when I got back into the car, you know, you're in there a long time, and she knew and I knew, you know, you just feel when there's something not right. You just have that instinct that there's just something not 100%. And I think we all go into the appointment, nobody wanted to say anything, but the four of us all knew, especially the longer I sat, and we were like, this is not good, you know. But yeah, it was tough.
It was tough, and even talking about it now, it must not be easy, Judith, at all. You mentioned the symptoms. Maybe you just felt tired. Was there any other signs at all that maybe would have led to for you to have thought that this was something that was happening?
No, probably just the tiredness. I was in America for 9 days. We were doing a summer camp out there, and I came home and I was straight into Senior Cup All Ireland's. And even at the Senior Cup, I just wasn't myself. You know, I just felt lethargic, and, you know, I was napping a lot during the afternoons, and I've always been sporty, so it's, you know, that was never about me to be going to bed at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And, you know, so I just knew in my body that I wasn't 100%.
Yeah. You mentioned, you know, your mom was there. She had been through it. Her next question was like, right, what's next? Had you other options? What were your options that day given to you? Were you given options that day?
Yeah, so I was given a lumpectomy, so that's just taking the lump out,
Right.
and there would have been 6 weeks of radio, or removing one of the breasts and 6 weeks of radio, or removing both breasts, and then the hope that that was enough. Because when you have the BRCA2, your chances, I think it's 11% for the general population, and when you have the BRCA, it goes up to like 82%
Wow.
of getting breast cancer in your lifetime. So
Wow.
because the gene came from my dad, and mum obviously didn't have the gene, so she was just pure coincidence. That's generally the choice that a lot of women go for, to have that double mastectomy, just to remove the cancer completely. So my sister actually had the double mastectomy last Tuesday.
Your sister did?
Yeah, the older one. Yeah, she had her surgery last 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks today. 2 weeks tomorrow. Yeah, 2 weeks tomorrow. She had her double mastectomy there, just to be rid of it, which is good.
Wow, it's amazing. I mean, when you say double mastectomy, is that the removal of the full two breasts, Judith?
Yeah, so your two breasts gone, and then you get two implants. There's a couple of different surgeries. You know, you can get tummy fat, and, you know, they can be put in, or you can get like fat from around your back. And just with the golf, I kind of because I play a lot of golf, the back one was kind of out. You know, I just didn't want to have weaker muscles in my back, so I just thought implants are perfect. You know, and yeah, so they've been good, which is great.
I don't know if this is too much of a personal question. You can tell me it is or it isn't. But when it comes to being a woman, I mean, you know, you have breasts, and what was it like for you to realize, oh my God, I'm actually removing a part of me that, you know, that's part of me. That's my two breasts are gone. Like,
Yeah, so that was a big deal, I think, at the time when I was making the decision. And I think we had grown up for, you know, when my mum was first diagnosed, I was only 10. So when she had breast cancer, like we kind of grew up and she didn't have breasts, you know, she didn't have the reconstruction, she just had the double mastectomy. So I think from a point of view, it's just two pieces of flesh. That's what mum always said, you know, two pieces of flesh, you know, you'll get these nice implants and, you know, so, you know, it's good in that way. And they have their benefits too, don't mind, which is great. But yeah, that's what mum always said, the two pieces of flesh, and you know, the cancer and the disease in the future is gone. So like I'm 26 now and I don't ever have to, you know, worry about having breast cancer again. You know, my older sister's the same, you know, she's 30 and just married, and so she doesn't have that worry as well. So which is great. So yeah, it's the positives outweigh the negatives, you know.
did your sister, did she have the gene and did she have breast cancer, Judith?
No, the older one had just the gene, so she has the gene. So she just decided she wanted to get the preventative surgery. So they have a younger sister too, so she doesn't have the gene, but she just has to be careful and just check her breasts and stuff. And but no, the older one just wanted to have it done, and she's doing well, which is great. So she's still young; she's only 30, so she's doing well as expected.
Good. What's it like? I mean, after the surgery, recovery wise, after the removal of after the double mastectomy.
Yeah, it was good. I was in hospital for a few days, and you know, I was treated with a lot of care. You know, people were like, "Oh, geez, you're so young to be in here," and you know, I think the persona around it, even when the physios were coming in to see me, they were like, "Oh, like what do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I work in sport." And they're like, "Oh, you'll be fine. This recovery will be a breeze." And you know, I didn't struggle physically. You know, I was back driving after 2.5 weeks, and like my mum at the time was really, really sick, so it was just me and her in the house. So I kind of was looking at like she was in a lot worse position than I was, you know. So I was having to do the cooking for her, and you know, I was back playing golf 6 or 7 weeks after, back swinging. So I think definitely for somebody who's so much younger, it's definitely a benefit that you're young and fit. And but it's more the mental, I think, was the big deal. I think that's what I struggle with the most, and still do. You know, you still have your moments, but you just have to remind yourself, you know, the cancer gone and you'll never have it again.
No, thank God you did mention the cancer is gone and you don't have to worry about it, which is honestly a massive positive. I think anyone would take a double mastectomy any day if it meant you didn't have to have that worry ever again. You mentioned your mom and how sick she was around the time of your recovery. I mean, hope you don't mind me bringing up your mom, but I suppose she must have been there for you, having been through so much herself, Judith.
Yeah, she went through a lot of turmoil, and even back in 2009 when she was first diagnosed, she was stage 2, I think, at that time, and the surgeons actually said, you know, we're not removing the breast, we'll just take the lump out and then give you radio, which is amazing to see, you know, the transformation 15 years, that any sign of cancer, they're like, you know, we'll take both off. Whereas she kind of always said, you know, if I had both off in 2009, you know, I wouldn't be where I was now. But oh, she battled hard, and I think it was over 100 chemotherapy sessions she had over a lifetime, and just, you know, she just got a next diagnosis and just got, what's the next chemotherapy? Let me sign. And you know, she was truly incredible, and that's what she says. You know, you have a strong mother to look up to, and yeah, she was amazing.
Oh, to be fair, like to have someone like that around, I mean, it's mad though that you both just had it at the same time, and it was your dad, and it's, you know, it was from your dad's gene. It's just crazy to even think of these things. But for you sharing your story, Judith, do you find that a lot more people, maybe your friends, would be willing to check their breasts a bit more? They ask you maybe, how should I check my breast? What am I looking for?
Yeah, because I actually was working in schools at the time on my diagnosis, and I had a conversation with one of the classroom assistants, and turns out there was a gene in her family, and unfortunately she went and got checked, and her breast cancer had reoccurred. And it was just from that conversation that I had with her that she was like, geez, I wonder if there's a gene in my family. And definitely a lot of girls my age are starting to check, a lot of my friends, and I think a lot of them thought, geez, somebody so young, that's so unheard of. And I think once I told them, and I was pretty open about it, and I would have posted Instagram and stuff and just raised awareness, and a lot of girls were replying saying, I've been checking, and which is great, which is all I wanted, was just, even if you got 2 or 3 girls to check, which is the most important thing. And there's no need to be scared if you do find something, go and get it checked, and just have that reassurance that it is something or it's not something, and you just deal with it head on.
Yeah, no, it is so important. And you speaking out was honestly so courageous and so admirable, because like, if this conversation, if someone's listening to the pod and it encouraged them to check their breasts, I know 1,000,000% it would encourage me to check more, because as you said, it's the stigma would be that it's an older lady that might get breast cancer, but it's not. I mean, anyone that has a breast can probably get breast cancer if
Yeah,
depending on the
absolutely.
age. But look, you're fit, you're healthy, you're back at it, you're working, you're golfing. I mean, how does that feel to be now on the other side of it, Judith, to be like, you know what, it was a tough part of my life, but now look where I am.
Yeah, I think really towards the end of last year, I kind of put it in a box and kind of, right, it's time to move forward, and got a new job with Hockey Ireland, and dream job, in a big NGB, and the staff have all been so supportive. And even with that dip in January of losing mum, they were so supportive, and they really came around me and said, look, any support you need, and which was fantastic. And I think it was nice to have that kind of new challenge, just to get my teeth stuck into when I was at such a low period in my life with mum. And so no, it was fantastic. And even being back playing the golf, I kind of doubted my ability near enough, but conversations with mum, and in January before she passed, she's like, get out and play that golf, and you're great. And so it's just that we push you need sometimes, just to say, right, let's go and get back. And yeah, even that summer there just after, and the Senior Cup, and then the Interpros, and that was huge for me personally, and obviously for Ulster and the Senior Cup. But yeah, for me personally, it was just like, yeah, like I can play with these girls, and it just showed me personally that I can get back, and I walk back nearly better than what I was before my surgery. So it's a bit of belief as well, and positive attitude.
Yeah, and I know your mom is always going to be looking down on you and so proud of you for everything you have achieved. And it was nice for you to have that
Yeah,
moment or before she passed. But
big
um,
time. Yeah.
fair play to you. Well, you are back in action, and you're back in competitive action this week. You're in the Flowgas Irish
Yes.
Women's Amateur Open Championship. I mean, where are we
Yeah.
at ahead this, Judith? What's the
I
story?
know. I know. No, I'm really looking forward to it. I love woodwork. It's always a course that I love going to. Love being down by the sea, and it's just such a nice venue. So no, I'm really looking forward to it, and yeah, just ready to get out and give it my best shot and see how I get on. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, it'll be good. It'll be a good few days.
What's the hopes and expectations maybe of this week? Anything at all?
Uh, Hopefully to make the no, I'll be delighted. Yeah, if they make the cut, I'll be delighted. Yeah, just probably just prove myself that I can play steady golf, and I can. It's more a mental challenge, I think, for me personally.
Yeah.
I know I have the game, but it's just keep telling yourself, like, keep going and keep the head down. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Just steady golf, and just give it my best shot and see how I get on.
Well, a fair play to you. The very best of luck to you this week, right?
Thank you. Thank
Absolutely
you.
fabulous. It was so lovely talking to you. Honestly, this conversation is so important, and I'm delighted that I got a chance to speak to you. And thank you so much for being so open and honest and sharing your journey with
Yeah,
me.
no worries.
Honestly, on the
No
golf
worries.
island, it's not easy to do it. So fair play to you. Before I let you go, I mean, outside of the golf, Judith, do you get a chance to play a bit of hockey nowadays? I know you give it up around the time of your journey, but you play it?
Yeah, so I gave up there just before the surgery. I kind of with the implants, it's kind of risky, if you get a knock or a hit, or you might need another surgery then. So I was kind of like, no. And now that I've got hockey in my life now in work environment, it's class. It's so good, and no, like I say, they're all brilliant, and with a team day on Wednesday, so hopefully we're going to be hockey match going, and yeah, it'll be great. It'll be good fun.
So working with Hockey Ireland has definitely filled the void of you not playing. So Judith.
Yeah, big time, which is great. It's nice to have both in my life now again.
Good. And what about the family, the rest of the family? Will they be out this week supporting you? Will they try to get there?
Yeah, well, it's Father's Day on Sunday, obviously. So, yeah, so hopefully he'll venture. I think I'm playing at 10 to 2 or something on Sunday. So, nearly dead last. So, I said, look, come down in a few hours out in the golf course, So, we'll see. Hopefully, he comes down. He might come down. He's playing golf himself on Saturday. So, I know I won't see him on Saturday, but
Yeah.
hopefully Sunday maybe. But
Oh,
I'll
well,
say Happy Father's Day.
yeah.
So.
Happy Father's Day. Good luck now. I better go. I'm thanks,
Yeah,
Dad. Don't
yeah,
crack my style now. Well, look,
yeah.
fair play to you. The very best of luck to you this week, and thank you again for sharing your journey with us. All right.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks very much. That was great.
It is now time for the news section. We'll start off with the pro professional game. It is the PGA Tour last week was in Memorial Tournament. A very tough competition. It was a tied 15 finish for Rory McIlroy, tied 27 for Seamus Power, and a 49th place finish for Shane Lowry. This week it is the U.S Men's Open at Pinehurst, which is going to be very exciting. We've got Rory McIlroy, Shane Lowry, Seamus Power, and Tom McKibben in action. Tom McKibben, this is his first ever major. He qualified earlier in the year, so congratulations, Tom. Very exciting, and very much looking forward to watching that. On the Ladies European Tour, it was a tied 65th finish for Lauren Walsh at the Scandinavian Mixed in Sweden last week. This week, it is the Italian Open for Lauren Walsh and Olivia Mahaffey, so best of luck there. On the Challenge Tour, Gary Hurley had a fantastic runner-up finish at the Challenge de Cadiz last week, which sees him jump 39 spots in the rankings up to 18th. Brilliant stuff there from Gary. Conor Purcell finished tied 17th, which sees him finish sees him at the 24th place on the rankings. This week it's the Cascada Golf Challenge in the Czech Republic. With Gary and Conor will be action alongside Ronan Mullarney, John Murphy, Alex McGuire, Mark Power, and Daniel Mulligan. Best of luck there to all participating. On the Alps Tour, it was the Open de la Marabella de France in this week. A number of Irish in the field there as well, so best of luck to all taking part. On the Clutch Pro Tour, Rowan Lester, best of the Irish with a tied 18th finish at the Bowood event last week. This week it is the Manor House event, which is finishing up today, so keep an eye on social medias for score updates. The Ladies European Tour has Access Series. Sarah Byrne playing as an amateur at the Amundi Czech Ladies Challenge from the 14th to the 16th of June. Olivia Hunt also in the field, so keep an eye out there for both Sarah and Olivia, and best of luck. In the amateur news, Brad Smith from Royal Cromer claimed his second ISPS Handa Irish Open for golfers with a disability title in Roganstown Golf Club. The Englishman carried rounds of 71 and 77 to claim victory by 4 shots over fellow countryman Thomas Blizzard. Brilliant stuff there. Well, congratulations to Brad. Jake Whelan was crowned the 2024 Connacht Men's Stroke Play Championship at Portumna Golf Club. The Grange golfer carried rounds of 70, 74, and 67 and 73 on his way to a one-shot victory over David Howard. Whelan's victory has pushed him up to a tie for 4th in this season's race for the Bridgestone Order of Merit on the men's side. So brilliantly done there by Jake Whelan. Lone golfer Matthew McLean still remains top of the Order of Merit, 246 points clear of Paul Coughlin in second. Paul Coughlin's tied 5 finish in Portumna earned him 78 points and moves him from 5th up to 2nd in that Order of Merit race there. So some big moves being made. There is potential for change in the women's standings this coming weekend as Anna Aebom takes her narrow 6-point lead at the summit of the Bridgestone Women's Order of Merit into the Flowgas Irish Women's Amateur Open Championship. One of the biggest events on the calendar gets underway in Woodbrook the Saturday the 15th of June, with the closest rivals Aileen Walsh and the in-form Annabelle Wilson aiming to knock Anna Aebom off the top spot. So that will be very interesting to keep an eye on. The men will have over a month to prepare for their next opportunity to add points to their tally. Next on the schedule is the South of Ireland Amateur Open Championship in Lahinch on Wednesday, July 26th, which is always a big event. So excited for that. The South of Ireland Amateur Open Championship in Lahinch on Wednesday, July 26th. The 129th Amateur Championship will tee up in Ballyliffin Golf Club, County Donegal, from the 17th to the 22nd of June. It's contested over stroke play and then match play, and the winner secures exemptions into the Open and the U.S Open and an invitation to play in the Masters tournament. Talk about big stakes on the line there. That will be an absolutely fantastic experience for the winner, so best of luck to all participating. And that wraps up the news for this week. We want to thank you as always for tuning in and listening. We really appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed, and we will see you all next week.